I feel like too many people have discounted their own worth, their own being, their own significance based on expectations that were not met. I thought I would be doing this by 30.
Yeah.
I thought I would be doing this by 34. I never thought I'd end up on TMZ, whatever the challenge is.
Yeah. No, I'd say this stuff to myself. 100%. Yes.
So here's what we need to do. We need to forgive ourselves, slowly learn to forget, which is, all my psychologist friends tell me, to forget means to omit on purpose.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I can help somebody right now.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Better Together with Maria Menounos. Of course, I'm not Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, a.k.a. Mr. Maria Menounos. And due to a windstorm in our town, if it's not enough to lose our host, now we've lost internet in our town. So we are coming to you from the Prius in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, trying to bring you the show, which could be one of our most important shows, especially with what's going on today. I'll start with the quote, which I think will set the pace. If you had a setback, don't take a step back. Get ready for a comeback. That's from Tim Storey, who's our guest today. Tim Storey is an acclaimed author, speaker, and life coach, known for inspiring and motivating people. Most notably, he's a coach to Oprah, Robert Downey Jr., Quincy Jones, and Steve Harvey, just to name a few. However, Tim continues to coach those from all walks of life, rich and poor. To the latter, Tim's father was killed suddenly when he was just a boy, leaving his mother, a Winchell's Donut employee, to take care of him and his 4 other siblings. That hardship helped to make Tim the incredible empath, caretaker, and success he is today. His genuine focus towards helping people worldwide, matched with his incredible empathy and sensitivity, makes him a unique blend of Tony Robbins and Mother Teresa, and something even more to this day in this century. Specializing in orchestrating comebacks and manifesting miracles, he is life coach to life coaches, and here to help us today, Better Together Heal Squad welcomes Tim Storey. So, Tim, I can't think of, I'm so grateful to have you here, but especially now in what's going on in our world.
Your friend, Tim Storey, and can you believe you're in a parking lot of a donut shop? You've come a long way. I knew you were going to make it. I knew you were going to make it.
Tim, you know what? I can. For me, for my life, regular guy, 100%. We're so, as much as I know you and Maria are going to be thick as thieves, but at the same time, Maria would be she'd be out of whack right now. So
I told you that I'm a fan of the show. I'm loving what you guys are doing. And from my perspective, is you guys are giving people a life lift, body, mind, and soul. And so many times people depend on one area of their life. They're together in this area, but then they don't pay attention to this area. And I'm loving the plethora of guests you have because you're dealing with every part of our lives. So keep on keeping on.
Wow. And that's why I feel like you are made for this century and for today, because other life coaches, I don't think they're taking the soul element in there. No, that it is mind, body, and soul. I think mind and body, and that's great.
Well, the reality is because we both have been around a lot of successful people. And I saw that by just conquering things and achieving your goals, there was many times something missing, and that's called meaning and significance. Why were we placed on this planet? What is my purpose? And so, we're all about, us three that we're talking about, we're all about, meaning, significance, purpose, right? Gratitude, servanthood. And when you come from that place, man, the world becomes real bright and shiny again.
I think the cynics will say to me, and I have some who work for me say, because I have a friend who's one of my mentors. He works in garments, but he's very neutral and he's very, he handles crisis very well. And I hear okay, that's because he's rich. You're like that, Tim, because you're successful. I'm like that because I'm successful. And it's hard because I feel like it's that mindset that gets you success. Do you agree?
100%. And, because we've all traveled a lot. So I've been to 75 countries of the world. And I remember being in South Africa in the townships and speaking to a group of 7 and 8-year-olds, and the smiles, the energy. And when I said, what do you want to be when you get older? And they were like, the president, an NBA star. They were thinking big. Their imaginations were so huge. So I think a lot of it is the mindset. So the mind is so powerful, but it all determines on where you set your mind. It's like a long time ago when you had a TV and you had to go boom, boom, boom. So the question is to all you that are watching today is like, where are you setting your mind? Is it just pandemic? Is it just what we may lose or the fear that you have? So today we're going to dialogue a little bit about mindset and how to set your mind in the right place.
So I love that you talked about with setbacks, especially like having to retrain your mindset, I think, because a lot of people right now are losing their jobs, they're losing loved ones. And I know you mentioned I love the process of being awake, then being aware, and then taking inventory.
Yes.
Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, because what happens in life is that people always say life is going by so fast, but I want you to think about it. When we were kids, you had kindergarten, and then there was a summer. First grade, then there was a summer. This is cool, watch. Second grade, then there was summer. It like took a long time before you were in the 12th grade. Like we lived in the moment, fully present, fully feeling, fully alive. We become now a society of human doings. We're just doing and doing and doing instead of being, to truly be in the moment and be present. Like when I see you, like next time, you're going to see I'm like this. I'll be right there again. Same. I could have bombs blowing up everywhere. I'm going to be like in the moment because it's a mindset. So I think what happens is that it's important to know that we don't have to chase our dreams. We simply cooperate with what the universe is spoken over us. So I think you and Maria have an assignment right now. This is your assignment right now. You've done all the things you've done in the past with comedy writing and all the things in the industry. I mean, look, she's a legend in what we do. Look what she's done. Now you guys are paired together, but you don't have to go chase it like the next guy. You're cooperating with what the universe is saying. And when you cooperate, there's a peace that will come with it.
Well, Tim, I fought it a lot, though. And I think a lot of us fight that.
Yeah.
And I think the American dream, and I think I go back, I hate to keep saying it, but I go back to the 20th century where it was just, you've got this big dream and then you go out and you bang heads to get it. And then that's going to be your happiness. And then when we hear from, more evolved people like yourself, it's like you learn that that's not it. And I think it's getting people to have more peace with being and have more peace with the journey rather than the result.
Well, you said it perfectly. So, let's go back into the steps of like truly coming back. So we're moving at this pace.
Yeah.
And then what happens to all of us is a life interruption. It may be a challenge with a family member. It may be a challenge in our own physical body, our mental health.
I know you made a great analogy about Mike Tyson. He was never taught how to get back up. He was just taught how to knock somebody out, which is what he did.
Yes.
Or he got knocked out himself, but he never lost by decision. I think that's when you talk about life interruptions, we don't prepare mentally for these interruptions
at all. Because let's look at our childhood. There was a lot of interruptions, but we scraped our knee, but then you get back up. And, somebody breaks up with you and it hurts for a while. Then you listen to a couple songs you like, and then you get back up. But when you get older, these things, they hurt deeper, right? And so the first step to getting back is, number one, you become awake, as you just said. What do you mean awake, Tim Storey? I mean, you come out of the funk. You like open up the curtains, get outside and breathe. You know, if you have like relatives, go see your relatives, go see your mom if she's around, or your father, like wake the heck up and then become aware of what's going on around you. You know what I find in a lot of people? They're just like this. They're like this.
Yes.
They're like this. And if you almost like see them in an airport and you're just not a stranger, they look at you strange, like what just happened? So you gotta wake up, then you become aware of what's around you. Then thirdly, you gotta take inventory. You gotta think to yourself, when I had that setback, what happened to me? Am I still funny? Am I still interesting? Am I still a good listener? So let's talk about you for just a second, since I'm a life coach. So you're known as a guy who does a lot of things, but one thing is comedy, right?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, there's been times in your life where you didn't feel funny, but you had to be funny, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you had to take inventory and say, like, what's happening in my life where humor is not just coming out of me. So you take inventory. Now, when you take inventory, now you know what you're dealing with. And so with all these celebrities that I've worked with, I've been working with celebrities since 91. Wow. And it started with like, Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, Tony Curtis, Lee Iacocca. I was living a crazy life.
Crazy.
Not bad for a kid from Compton, man.
Wow.
I was like hanging out at Spago's and talking about problems and at Nate Now's, with Larry King. So, I learned a lot. And I learned how these guys that we consider like grand, they had to like become awake, aware, take inventory. So we take inventory and see, okay, where am I at? It really is 2021. Like, where am I at? And okay, so what's next? So now I need what I call power steps. Power steps are steps with purpose and intent. Purpose and intent. Tim Storey is saying, watch, if you don't do something with life, life will do something with you. And there are times in life, in your life and mine, we've got our butts kicked. Has there ever been a time in your life where you feel like life was pushing you around?
Every other day.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
All right. So everybody watching has been there.
Yeah.
So you have to take these power steps with purpose and intent. Purpose and intent. So you take inventory. So the power steps, one of them is I got to partner with the right people. Oh, this is good. Because we love everybody, but that doesn't mean they should be in the trenches with us. That doesn't mean they have the right mindset to help us stay focused.
Right, and we don't. And the thing, so Tim, the biggest thing is this inventory, because I didn't take inventory. Okay. I will tell you, I did not. And, taking Tony Robbins, classes and stuff, and we did business mastery, and he had one guy come on and talk about the importance of data and measuring your business, right? You own a pizza shop. How much flour am I using? How much cheese am I using? Who are my customers? What times do they come in? Yeah. All these different things. He's all about measuring your data. And as I have researched you, and I've heard from other healers, but especially you, I realize we don't pause to measure our lives, our choices, the results. Take that inventory, like you're saying. I didn't. I just kept skin the knee, get up. I always say I'm too dumb to quit. Like the Italian way, just keep digging, and now as I've gotten older and working with you guys, it's making me say, wait, pause, take inventory, look around, where am I getting, who gives me energy that I work with? Who takes my energy? you also said something about what state of mind were you in? What was your state of soul when you made that bad choice? That like blew my mind, Tim. Like most of us don't think that way. We make mistakes, we get back up. And and we're taught that's cool. 20th century. Get back up and fight, as a guy.
Well, you're exactly right. So if you were to look at your mindset when we made bad choices, because a choice is a selection. So I like Nate Now's on Beverly in Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And I like to eat breakfast there. So the waitresses have been there like 1,100 million years.
Yeah.
I know
been there forever.
They've been there forever. And so I was talking to a few of them one day and I said, hey, Gladys, now when people order, do they ever really look at the menu? And she goes, Tim, no. I come and they say, come back. I want coffee, but come back. And then they're engaging in conversation. Then I come again. And then they go, okay, what do you have? And they go back and forth with a friend and they rush order. So I started thinking about this. Life is like a diner. Think how many times the menu was put there in front of us of choices that we could have made that were healthy selections. And we rush ordered because our mindset was not clear and we had lingering results. It's like people that get into a marriage and then they're into it for a while and they're like, I would not have made that choice to marry that person in the right mindset, or to take a job, or to lose a job, or to tell somebody to go straight to, you know what? Like I have a really big actor friend that you guys probably know. I won't say his name, but I begged this guy, go, don't quit this job. Because he wanted to walk off the set because he had a bad day with the director. But in that mindset, it looked like the right thing to do. So again, we wake up, become aware, take inventory, but partner with the right people, okay? People who have a similar mindset or a stronger mindset, right? And similar motives.
Marry up.
Motives.
Similar motives. Motives, right.
What are your motives?
Yes. I always say, like, I've partnered with people on films, and I learned, like, one guy I was partnering with, his motive was literally just to impress everyone he went to high school with.
Yeah.
And then I worked with another star. His only motive was impressing old Hollywood. This guy was friends with all the old Hollywood stars that are no longer with us. Ginger Rogers. And every decision they made was based on that motive. So, my motive was make a great movie. Their motives were that. So, and sometimes the motives would align. I want to make a great movie to stick it up my friends in high school's butts. Yeah. But then sometimes that didn't. So when I sit across from somebody, but again, I wasn't aware. I wasn't taking inventory, Tim. Yes. And now, so when you partner with somebody or even for friends or who you hang out with, what are their motives? That's great. That's great advice.
So what are the motives? And then one would say to us, how do you know someone's motives? It's easier than you think. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will finally speak. So I have become a pro at listening. I'm trying to tell you, Bernie Brillstein, who was around Beverly Hills forever, as in Brillstein and Great, that was my boy.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Bernie and I would eat dinner twice a month. And Bernie would say, do you know one reason I love you around? And I go, no. He goes, number one, you're funny. Number two, you're a good listener. So I was really trained to listen because I'm the youngest of 5 children. And 3 of my older, my older siblings are girls. And I was such a good listener, even though I was like 9 years younger than them, I'd be listening. But there's something powerful about this, is that in the listening, you learn what somebody's motive is. Guys, you got to learn to hear the guy you're dating or the woman you're dating. Shh, let them talk. Let them talk.
Ooh,
Let them
yes.
talk.
Yes. I know.
Let them talk.
I know.
Oh, man, talk some more. That's amazing.
Tim, here's the thing. Like you, at 12, this happens to your dad, and I know you become even a greater empath, and you go and you help all these people. How is it possible for somebody who is, I mean, do you have to be born with that? That's the one troubling thing that I find with trying to help people is I wonder if you're either just born special or you're not. And I hate that because it's so limiting. But is it possible if someone is just kind of that negative person for them to shift the mindset? Is it possible? Because you're Maria, you're born this way. Kelsey, even there's people just born special.
Okay, so the good thing about being interviewed from home is that I could actually look at like my notes. Okay, so allow me just to say something off these notes because it's so good that I think that we need to understand this. I believe that most of us are truly born with a unlimited imagination. And so I started thinking this way years ago. So I started talking to the best psychologists, thought leaders around the world. Like, dude, I'd be in like amazing countries just talking with great minds. And they kept saying, you're right. They believed that big thinking imagination is innate. It's innate. Now, some people have it in a different gifting, like let's say a Robin Williams, because you understand comedy, he could go there in the imagination in such a wild way. A Dave Chappelle presently can go there in his imagination in such an amazing way. So you would agree with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you would say that they have like the bonus level. But all of us have innately this gift from the universe that we are supposed to live a magical life. We are, man. Life is magical. What do you mean by magical? Life is extraordinary, uncommon, not regular, okay? So it's innate, but it's also learned behavior. So I believe that it was given to you innately, but then what you're working on even stronger at this stage of your life is that you are learning to stir up, okay, and educate this side of you. So if you think you've done great things in the past, wait till the next 2 years. Because if your light bulb was at 60, when we tune it up to 100, boom.
So for someone who is negative or blocked, what recommendations do you have? You know, because I know there's just certain people, and you've got to have come across them, Tim, where you'll present a solution or give advice. No, that won't work. And then you always get screwed in life anyway. And every time I give, I end up getting used. How do you help them?
Okay, so here's what I think. Number one, sometimes part of that is innate as well, because they were maybe raised around a father or a mother that was just negative. And so they picked that up. It's called the law of reproduction, that like produces like. So, you know, we have some friends, all of us, that have negative people. So that's their mindset. So what I do with people like that is I'm a little sneaky. I will try to put them around other people, even at a dinner party, who are the complete opposite. And it's a really powerful thing, is that now they're exposed to like somebody who does really well, but yet he's thoughtful or she's thoughtful and they're genuine and they're not caught up. So observation, conversation, education. So sometimes you just, if you really care about these people, You just have to introduce them into something else. And that's one reason that I wrote this book, The Miracle Mentality, is to introduce
miracle mentality.
The miracle mentality, to introduce people to a different way of thinking. And you know what? When they get introduced, many times they start to say, really, that's really who I am. And somehow I became this cynical guy that I am, male or female.
So, and if you're that person and you don't have a coach, go seek those people out then.
Yeah, because okay, look at this. So I found out you guys were doing this podcast. I've been seeing it around. So I began to binge watch, right? So now I know all your stuff. And so that's one reason you guys are doing what you're doing. So there's no excuse nowadays. It wasn't like the old days. If I didn't know something, I have to go find an encyclopedia or go to the library.
Yeah. I mean, it's all out there.
They could watch your program every day and get a life lift. So there's no excuses, man. And you know what? Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. So if you've been a pain in the butt for 49 years, stop it today.
Ooh. Ouch. Yes. And it's going to, because tomorrow it's not going to be, it's going to be a reality. Can you have to talk about the plowing of the land and the importance of that. And let me preface it with, I feel like, and you've touched on this before. I feel like with the younger generation, there is this, I've got this big dream. I think that they were raised with more possibility in their minds than we were, which I love. There's signs all over my studios say minds and possibility. I love that. But what is missing, I think, between that dream and then the realization of the dream is the work and the years that go in. And you have this wonderful analogy about the soil and plowing that I would love you to share.
Yes. And when I mention her, it's because that's my real friend, like Oprah. Hi. She'll probably watch this. She's my real friend. She's my dinner buddy. And so Oprah loves the saying that I say, that life is not about one big break. It's about one little breakthrough at a time. Okay. And you're exactly right. The younger generation, they'll see a celebrity or someone that they look up to that maybe even has a big YouTube following, and it looks like they're overnight success. When that happens, it will not last for long, because you've got
to build all the time.
Structure. You have to build the structure, because when the storms hit in all of our lives, if your life is built on the sand, great is its destruction. If it's built on the rock, it's gonna stand. So I believe in what I call the law of the harvest. Now, the harvest is the manifestation of something. Okay. So Maria's seen this in her life. I mean, I've watched her journey. I've watched your journey. So now you got two powerhouses together. But the reality, people don't know behind the scenes on how you guys have plowed the ground. It's like the law of the harvest. Pretend we're farmers. Plowing is hard work. Yeah. You plow, but watch how cool this is. You have to plant the right seed. See, some people plow and then they go here's some seed. I'm not in the mood. And they got a bad attitude. So you plowed, that was good, but you're planting the wrong seed. So you have to become intentional at planting the right seed, because whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. So you plow, you plant, water. Watch how good this is. Water's repetition. Okay. So I have plants in this office of ours, and man, you know what's weird about a plant? You got to water it. Same with a dream.
Funny thing.
So how do I water my dreams, Tim Storey? You watch this podcast, you read this book, you listen to cool music. Like this morning, dude, I'm from Compton. I was listening to Van Morrison. I like all kinds of music. Yesterday, I was listening to Kenny Loggins. So I go all over the board. So that's part like water.
I had classical Greek music on this morning.
So you get it, right?
I get it. Of course. The quote you reference, which I think really will speak to the younger generation: he who works land has abundance. He who chases fantasies lacks wisdom.
Yes. So that's the second part. And thanks for bringing that up. So you got to plow, you got to plant, you got to water, and then payday is on its way. But the harvest will not always come in the way that you think it should. Sometimes you think, I did all that, so, within 6 months, I'm going to get my harvest. Could come in 3, could come in 2, could come in 9. Okay? So he who works his land shall have abundance. Abundance means overflowing. Okay, but let's get into what is abundance. To me, I want abundance of joy, abundance of peace, abundance of gratitude. That's cool abundance, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. But whoever chases, chases, there goes that word again. We got a world of people chasing. It's like these young influencers now. The big thing is they got influencers nowadays. And they're like, dude, I beat the sun up. I'm on my grind. I look at them like, dude, go to sleep. You look exhausted. That's what I think about. So they're chasing. He who chases fantasies, look, I'm doing this on purpose because it's something that's really not there.
Yeah.
Lacks judgment.
Oof. And I think it sets them up for such disappointment. And I shudder. Kelsey hears me say this all the time. I shudder in 10 years. The mental health, the suicide rates as are going up now. I shudder where the fantasy chasers are going to be at the end of it if they don't just get to do the work and to take the inventory and be aware and do the things that you're saying.
Okay, can I tell you something cool? So number one, 100% agree with what you said. So that's a great observation, okay? All right, so the other side of this is, this is what's going to calm us down. I don't get jealous of my buddies that have these amazing houses or have all these hit movies, and we're going. That's your piece of the puzzle. I'll never forget, I was with my cousin Esther, and I was about 10 years of age, and Esther was 3 years older. She was 13, and she loved puzzles. So because she was going to do a puzzle with me, and it was just going to be for like a couple hours as we were listening to Motown music, it was like a medium range puzzle. Like the pieces were bigger, not the real tiny ones. So we were listening to Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, the Supremes, and you got to lay a good puzzle on a wooden floor, not on carpet. So I'll never forget, she was doing a few pieces of puzzle. I was doing some. We're laughing, making jokes, but it was fun to work with my cousin on this puzzle. And at the end, we found out that 4 pieces of the puzzle were missing. That the makers of that puzzle did not put all the pieces in the box. And so it was so disheartening because oh man, we all did all this, but we're missing 4 pieces and it's not even our fault. We did our best. A lot of people, they are missing pieces of the puzzle. They are missing pieces of the puzzle because somebody's not doing their job. So in your realm, you're a piece of the puzzle. In my realm, I'm a piece of the puzzle. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. I agree. I agree.
But isn't that awesome?
It is.
We respect everybody, but we're all pieces of the puzzle.
All pieces of the puzzle. And I would say if you have friends like that who are successful, think of why would you be jealous think of who you're aligned with. Is that not a good thing to be aligned with? I never got that. I want nothing but great things for everybody. I always say, I wish everyone could be on spring break. But especially my friends. Yeah. I never understood that. I love talking about, because again, we're in this kind of chaotic state with pandemic, or maybe you've lost your job, your life's been disrupted. And I love that you talk about, if you can get back to peace, that's where you'll get the clarity. Chaos, will bring more chaos. Peace brings solutions, but then you have techniques to get us back to peace. So in that moment, what are some of the things to get us back to peace?
Okay. So one of the things that gets you back to peace is you have to get back to that place of innocence. And what I find that a lot of us, we've lost our innocence, man. Remember how happy we were when we just got up in the morning as kids and you maybe just wanted cereal and a cartoon, right? And so what I do is I trigger myself. I trigger myself every day of my life through watching things I want to watch, talking to people like you that I want to talk to, and again, listening to music that I want to listen to, that takes me back to a place of innocence. So that's one way to get back into that place of innocence. Then another thing you'll like, I'll just do this too for right now, is get back to the place of gratitude. Look, I can move my hands.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm alive. I'm fully present.
Right.
I'm fully feeling. I'm fully alive. I mean, you're sitting in the parking lot of a Dunkin' Donuts. Look how far you've come.
Yeah. No, but I'm like, this Prius car is like, for me, an extra car. I'm talking to Tim Storey. I couldn't be more grateful. I agree. I have my moments, but then I'll see, like this morning, there was someone probably with cerebral palsy that was a clerk at the local drugstore, and he was really just struggling to make change. And what a beautiful soul. But it's like, who am I to not be, like you said, be grateful, And I think we can all find things. Everybody, I bet you if I asked that guy this morning, what was he grateful for? I bet you he would have so many things to say because he's got it better than someone else.
So real. And what I love is that when you get into that mindset of what is my piece in the puzzle, and many times it changes. Okay, so it may start like in like Maria's journey. I've watched her be this host, and and then she matures and she's the host, but she's also doing other things, and you guys are doing humanitarian work and stuff. So sometimes the piece of the puzzle that life calls us to, it alters. But I think we all need to really pay attention. Yeah. We need to behold, because life is passing out new assignments.
Yes. And you say that about the comeback is like, let's say that old world, whatever you had going ended. It's to know that now you have a new assignment. And I think when you were talking in one of your interviews, it reminded me of a lesson we learned in basic screenwriting, was that the main character goes out on his journey. Then there's the inciting incident with throws his world out of normalcy and what he does is, the main character, or she does, the first thing is trying to go back to the old world, try to piece it all back together. And I think we all do that. How do I get back to where I was? And you're saying, no, look at it as a reassignment, and I would love you to talk about that there? Because I think a lot of us just want, please.
I'm loving what you're saying. Okay. So another famous quote is, a comeback is not a go back. And that's exactly what you just said.
I have that.
A comeback's not a go back. And so I think so many people, like their career was thriving in the city that we've been around for so long. And now, Tim, You help that guy, this lady, that thing. That's what give me the formula. Well, you know what? A comeback is not a comeback. So we learn from what was back then. Okay. We become awake. We become aware. We take inventory. We partner with the right people. But here's the next thing. We got to get the right plan. See, the plan for your life 10 years ago has evolved. Yeah. Right? It's evolved. 100%. 100%. So if you're trying to do you back here, I got problems. If Maria's trying to do her back there, we got problems because you're evolving, because the universe is pushing you forward into some amazing places that are different, better, and more magical. The magic
and you say it here. But people have to cooperate with the comeback, says Tim Storey, right? Can you speak to that?
Yes, to cooperate means to align yourself. It's like I've helped so many entertainers, kids, and I'll say like, what were you thinking when you were up to this? I was just like stubborn or wanted to pay my parents back for never being there or whatever their thing was, right? Mm-hmm, and I'd say, well, that wasn't like too good for you even. And so all you have to do is you have to be willing, consenting, and cooperate and align yourself with who you really are. So watch how cool this is. All of us have been spoken over, and all of us have a calling. Our calling is specific and it's unique, man. And it's only for us. Nobody else has your calling, Maria's calling, or my calling. I don't want to be Dr. Oz. And you guys had him on your show. That's his calling. Mm-hmm. I'm not even trying to be, like the second version of Nelson Mandela. That's his calling. And so I think when we learn to cooperate with the comeback is when we say, I kind of surrender. I'm going to put my ego aside and I'm going to just lean in to what my heart is saying.
Can you comment on this, another Tim Storey gem, never waste your failures?
Man, failures hurt. Failures make you feel like you failed.
Right.
So watch. So Telepicture signs me years ago. And
oh God, I bet you I know who did.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline.
So they sign me.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to be the new next sensation. Okay. I've got William Morris. I got one of the top guys at William Morris who
I probably know him too.
Okay, yeah. So everything's set up. It's Tim Storey, the kid from Compton, is getting his own show. And Oprah's cool with it. Quincy Jones was looking at being the EP, but not doing too much, but just like hovering over.
Right.
I got a dream team. Yep. Okay. Guess what happens? I go to New York. They do all these like tests with me. I'm passing. They're loving me. They even bring in a set builder. How do you want your set? I'm looking at designs for the set. Okay. Ooh. They're talking about, how do you even want your billboards? It went that far. And then the person that I was going to replace, they decided to keep her another year. Then I was going to replace her again. They kept her another year. Then I was going to replace her again. They kept her another. So I kept getting held. Oh, it felt terrible. You know why I felt so terrible? Because I was so excited, but in my excitement, I told my friends. You guys, little Timmy from Compton's getting a talk show. You should see my set. Wait till you see my billboards. It never happened. Yes. So you got to learn. And I got to fail forward with lessons learned. Wow, right?
And you probably learned a lot in that 3-year period of being bumped around, I'm sure, right?
Hey, because I like the way you think. Give me 1 or 2 lessons you think I learned. Because you've been through similar things. Maria's been through things where it looked like you were going to get it or she was going to get it. Give me 1 or 2 lessons you think I probably learned from that.
Not jumping the gun, maybe.
Yeah, that's one.
Not buying into the hype.
Yes.
Maybe that there was a different path for you.
Yeah, hey, those are good right there. Okay, so not jumping the gun is I now have a saying. Sometimes you need to stay quiet even when you feel a shout. Like, I'll meet with these producers, like, I'll talk to you off the show. And he was telling me, we're going to do this movie, Story. I'm bringing you in for sure as a producer. And it's one of our top 3 actors, okay, that's doing this. So I'm like, I'm getting fired up, right? But because of the thing that happened with Telepictures, I've kind of learned a lesson. So I didn't go tell everybody, okay? Because guess what? It may not work. He may forget about me. He may not do it. So that's number 1. Sometimes you stay quiet even though you feel a shout. And then the other thing is, and this sounds very interesting for a guy who writes a book on the miracle mentality, okay? Sometimes you have to be realistic about your expectations. See? My expectation.
That's a hard one.
What I thought was going to happen to me, they were just too far gone. You need to bring it down a little bit. Like if you're struggling with your weight, maybe you're just going to lose a little bit of weight the next 3 months, and that's cool. If you want to go all the way vegan, maybe you should be like a quarter vegan to start, so you don't disappoint yourself.
Yeah, Well, in your book, when we're talking about manifesting miracles is a big thing.
Yeah.
Do we also temper our expectations in attaining those?
Well, I think that in the area of miracles, a miracle is something supernatural. So sometimes we manifest them by our intention, but sometimes they just arrive. And you got to know that you have had some times in your life that, dude, you didn't do much. Something just went bam and just like landed in front of you. So it's both. Some it's intentional, and we manifest miracles by what we believe and what we expect. But sometimes miracles are just a gift, man. They just show up. That's what happened in my life. Like, I didn't ask to meet all these important people in Hollywood. People always ask me, like, how'd you meet all these people? I'm like the chocolate Forrest Gump. I was just doing my job, and like people started coming to me. I remember the first time I was like speaking, and I saw like, dude, that's like Denzel Washington watching me speak. It was trippy. Another time I was speaking, I'm like, yo, I was like 32. I go, there's Tom Hanks. So it was nothing that I was trying to do. Miracles just started popping.
But I think the difference was, Tim, and this is for other people, is that you were awake, aware, and taking inventory, where all of us have these miracles, but we don't acknowledge them. You know what I mean? The miracle may have been today be going to the drugstore and dealing with this person with special needs, that might have been the miracle. But again, if you're not awake, you're not aware, and you're not taking inventory, you're not going to see these things.
Yeah, you just said it perfect.
So I think that's super important.
You got to go on the road, man.
Yeah.
You just said it perfectly because.
No, well, it's because of you. Well,
thank you.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I'm in my backyard, just breathing in between like life coaching people, because life coaching is cool, but you hear a lot of bad stuff. And sometimes you just need to just breathe.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there drinking tea. I like tea because it's good for my throat. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 beautiful butterflies just come by together. Like in slow motion. But see, I'm awake and I'm aware. And it was magical. So I called one of my friends who knows about butterflies. She's cool, really cool lady, very creative. And she asked me what type they were. And then she says, Tim, those types of butterflies don't usually flow in unison like that. She goes, that was really like a magical sight. So I got a lot of people that are watching today. You're like frustrated, like, I wrote a script and it still hasn't happened. And, I got that project and my agent's not paying attention to me. Or you could be with your parents, with your family, with your fitness. Just sometimes wake up and pay attention. It could be 3 butterflies going by that you just go, whoa, behold, there's still magic. Sometimes you just need a little magic.
Yep. And that's part of, just like you said, embracing being rather than doing or achieving.
Yeah, I'm just
it's like, I know I've had your being, and that is the hardest thing to transition over to. But the more that I do, the more better I feel. And I think that's one thing we have to try to get people to embrace around, because we've been wired for 100 years in this country, to achieve, to do, and not to be. And I feel like this century and people like you are leading us that way. There's another great quote when we talk about making the comeback and something bad happens to you. When we go into our new assignment, we don't have to be a discount version of ourselves. Because a lot of people are going to have to take a job, let's say, that pays less money, or maybe it's not within their dream, or whatever the case is. But can you speak to not becoming a discount version of ourselves in our new assignment?
Okay, so that's one of my favorite parts of this book, is that I feel like too many people have discounted their own worth, their own being, their own significance based on expectations that were not met. I thought I would be doing this by 30.
Yeah.
I thought I would be doing this by 34. I never thought I'd end up on TMZ, whatever the challenge is.
Yeah. No, I'd say this stuff to myself. 100%. Yes.
So here's what we need to do. We need to forgive ourselves, slowly learn to forget, which is, all my psychologist friends tell me, to forget means to omit on purpose.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I can help somebody right now. Now, I work with some of the bigger stars, but I'm not going to name drop and tell these people's names right now. But a couple of the big stars right now that are actors, one of them has done some things that are not that great. Some were found out, some were not. And I was telling this amazing actor, it could be a female, could be a male. I said, I got to help you clear your mind and unlearn what you've learned and realize that what you went through, we can just grow from it. Because otherwise, all these new things that are going to happen in your life, you are not going to appreciate them fully because you have become a discount version of yourself in your mind. Now, how do we do this? Our mind starts nursing it, cursing it, rehearsing it. If I hadn't done that, I shouldn't have quit that job. I should have taken. You're just thinking. You're thinking now.
Tim, are you reading my mind?
Maybe a little bit.
We say these things, but yeah, please continue because I want the elixir.
Yes. So we're just thinking about these things that we missed, and in that, you are so discounting yourself, and not only are you discounting yourself, you have labeled yourself. It's almost like you go to Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills or Neiman Marcus right next door. That's a certain standard of living, okay? You go in there and like, people treat us nice. What would you like? But some people, they had Saks Fifth Avenue dreams, and they ended up in like a lower end store on a discount rack in their mind that is marked irregular. Wow. Mm. And that's not even how we see them. That's how they see themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Oof. And they're contaminating tomorrow so much by doing so.
I tell you something, a screen legend says to me 10 years ago, he's now passed on. He goes, Tim, big fan, want to meet you. I mean, he's a legend. He goes, I used to be, and then he tells his name. I said to him, because we both have humor in us, I said, did you change your name? And he goes, no, what do you mean? I said, you said, I used to be, because he said his name after. I go, but you're still that name. He goes, but you know, I used to be that guy. I go, no, you're that guy.
Ooh.
You're still that guy.
Yeah.
He discount versioned himself.
Yes. And you know, the other thing, Tim, I don't know, do you know Nicole Avant? She was on our show. She produced.
I know of her.
Her and her brother, Alex.
Yes.
And Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather. She was on the show a few weeks ago. And her thing, calling out people for in the greatest way, is when people say, not I'm used to, I'm just. Mm-hmm. I'm just a plumber. I'm just a blank. And that is another just horrible thing. Nobody is just anything. You know, we're all here serving in some greater way, I think, or we can or should be.
100%. But can I give a shout out to the Avant family? Because I've not met Clarence.
Please, because I can't give them enough.
I roll with all their friends. I roll with Barry Gordy, Quincy, Suzanne DePass. Those are all their buddies. But I'm such a fan of the Avant family, what Clarence and his wife did and the kids. I would love to get together with them.
It's incredible.
Because when you look at the odds that they faced, they had to get a miracle mentality.
Mm-hmm. And man, he went, the worst of times, and he just kept coming back in greater ways and reinventing himself. And it never, like all angles, and just as much as a shout out to your book, a shout out to the Black Godfather. I was telling Nicole, I think it's one of the most important films of the year, if not the decade, because of what he achieved. We have to make that connection. And Nicole, who's a producer and a former ambassador for the United States, she had as much, if not more, healing advice than some of the world-class healers we've had on the show. So again, you just never know where it's going to come from.
But the discount version of yourself is that here's the deal. Like, let's say in your life, if you would have maybe listened to some of the critics or naysayers and taken in what they said as valid, and you would have owned them. When you were given the gift of Maria, you could have said, nah, I don't deserve that gift. And vice versa, with her, with you. I think life gives us a lot of gifts that something in us says, you're not really worthy of this. This is why they call in Tim Storey a lot, because entertainers will say to me, dude, why do I feel like blowing all this up? I almost feel like just dynamiting and sabotaging myself.
Oof. Yes. Yep. And I'll tell you, you know, something else, Tim, this might blow your mind. I think, you know, I go back to meeting Maria, who was the greatest gift that I've ever received. And this is going to sound crazy. I thought I was too good, not unworthy. I was like head writer at MTV. I was making movies, making moves. I'm like, you know, I was doing a nice girl. But I got my career and I got things. And what happened was the universe came in.
Yeah.
Had other plans for me. You know, something terrible happened with my film. I lost it. I went bankrupt. I lost friends. I lost family contacts. That's what put me in the valley and cleared the land for me to see Maria. It was a gift from the universe that I didn't even realize, that from like, wow, here's this great girl who's loyal. She's beautiful. She's familial. She's smart. She's supportive. Yeah. And here like, why am I not committing to this? And I did. And I, you know, and for me, it was all about, I want to make sure what happened to me never happens to Maria. So I went into overdrive for her life and career, and the rest is history. But all that was a gift that I thought was at the time, the worst thing in my life.
So you bring up a great point. I think sometimes when we find the miracle mentality is when we are at a difficult place in our life. And we know that we need to shift things in order to shape us. And so you shifted, and then therefore were shaped into the person that you're becoming now.
So I want to talk about, before we leave, especially with people being sick during the pandemic, you said, think big in small places. When we're sick, we go singular. When we think beyond, we go plural. Can you expand on that?
What I've noticed with little children is that when they are happy, they want to share the happiness with someone else. I remember being in a toy store, and a little girl said to her mother as I was walking by, Mom, this is my new friend, Amber. This was so funny. I was a little kid. And then the mother said, well, hello, Amber, where's your mother? And then the mother came up, mothers met, and she says, it's my new friend, Amber. And then she said, can she spend the night? They had just met, at the Toys R Us store, like aisle 11. And little kids have that in them, like little girls holding each other's hands. This is my new friend. And so we're very plural when we're happy. When we're going through pain, we have the tendency to go inward, that I call singular. Singular, singular. I'm going through a divorce. I'm going through pain. My movie project did not work. I can't believe what they said about me. And we go singular, okay? If you stay singular for too long, you're going to get polluted. You're going to get polluted. Because staying in the same place takes your river into a swamp. And a lot of people that are watching today, you had a flow from your mind, a flow from your spirit that you're feeling from both of us right now. And you allowed yourself to stay singular too long because somebody offended you, somebody hurt you, somebody wronged you. We've all been through this.
Yes.
So you have to become intentional, and you need to say, I'm going to become plural again. Well, how do you do this? Every single day of my life, I text at least 5 people and tell them how special I think they are. I've done it already today. I mean, it could be just random people.
Wow.
I go through my DMs on Instagram. I reached out to another 5 this morning already. And they'll many times say, is this really Tim Storey? I'll say, thank you for reaching out to us. I think you're awesome too. I've looked at your Instagram. Keep on keeping on. So what am I doing? Even if I feel singular, be intentional about reaching out and becoming plural. And what happens is all of a sudden you'll start to find a healing where that swamp begins to be a river again and you start to flow again. Because don't forget, life is all about seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Maybe your life feels like winter, but I'm here to tell you, summer is on its way.
What a great technique. Wake up. And because I'm into the life hacks, and I understand the people that are working 13, 14, 15 hours a day on the grind, trying to feed their families, take care of their families. I love that. If you can wake up, why not send 5 people thinking of you? Hope all's well.
You're
and
awesome.
and you never know if it's the universe at play too, because you never know if those 5 people really needed to hear that in that moment.
I do it all the time. Like, you probably know him too, but my buddy's Michael Mina, and he just opened up a new restaurant in Belmont Shore. He's got over 40, one of the greatest chefs in the world. And Michael out of nowhere shot me a text. Tim, love you. You're my brother. Come on.
Yeah.
These are busy men. And like, we take care of each other. Randy Jackson, I just sent him a text because he was on Dr. Oz yesterday and he looked good. And I sent him a text, Randy, looking good. He hit me right back. Love you, my brother. Need you, my brother. What does that do, man? It makes us go plural.
Right. And yet, what did it cost you if we put a stopwatch, 3 minutes maybe?
Exactly.
Right? In our mere mortal time. And think of the return. I love it. I'm going to put that one into use amongst many other things. Tim, what a gift to the world. What a gift to us, our show. I just can't wait because there's so much more that you're going to do and achieve. And it's going to be so fun to watch and see. I just. And I have so much to process from this interview. I still have more work to do, but I guess the work never stops, right?
Never stops. But thank you for seeing me. But for me, I just like, I'm right here. You see, I'm like so in the moment. So yes. I'm just really just blessed in the state that I'm in, and just excited to be a servant in wherever life guides me to be able to serve people's dreams.
And Tim, do you think that serving is good for everybody to do? If we could leave people on that, what are your thoughts on that? Or is it just your type of personality?
Serving is essential. I believe that it's in the paying it forward, and it's in the lifting up of another person's dream that something beautiful happens to us. It's almost like when you exercise and endorphins shoot through you. When you serve another person's dream, even if you go to feed the homeless, on Thanksgiving or whatever things you guys have done in the past, isn't it a weird feeling how like there's something magical that starts flowing through you where you get this good feeling? Because that's how the universe was set up.
Yes.
So all of us are set up to serve 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's like a lot of people who are guarded and afraid to serve, that they're going to be used or taken advantage of, just play through, man, because it's worked for me, but I always just wonder if it's not for everybody, but I'd like to think it is.
It is.
And you saying so makes it is.
100% for everybody. And it'll take you out of your singular mindset and into the plural. It was Ronnie Howard who was helping to serve Steven Spielberg, and that helped him a little bit because it rubbed off on you.
Yes.
If I'm with Quincy Jones, which that's been my guy for over 25 years, he doesn't make a move, man. If his bag's on the floor, I pick it up. He's like, yo, little brother, what are you doing? I go, no, I got it. I got it. Man, I'm always looking to serve. Mostly these guys that have paid the price before me, male or female, I'm all about serving somebody else.
And you know what I even hear in that, you picking up his bag, because I do that too for my mentors. I'll do whatever. I think it's humility as well, right? Maintaining humility.
100%.
Is very important. Wow. Tim Storey. Okay, Tim, the book is available now on Amazon. I'm sure it's going to be another bestseller.
Here it
Miracle
is.
Mentality. There it is.
Look at that.
Wow, is my guy. Oh, wow. I am so excited to read the book. And especially now, it couldn't be more important. And I feel like for everybody, there's an opening that's happening. We could look at this as like an ending or whatever, but it could be an opening, right? What's going on now. And to have a book like that to help us figure out what's that awesome opening that's coming. It's exciting.
Can I tell you something? Because you know about books. I was on one show and I sold 10,000 books on one show. Do you know why? Because this is not a book that people are buying just for themselves. We have people buying 50 for their company, 100 for their company. Let me tell you what happened on why I sold so many. One guy rose up and bought 5,000 of these on the spot. He said, I'm going to buy 5,000 and release them into charities so people can change their mindset and change their life.
Ooh, wow.
It's a movement. This is not just me like being in a good mood. Like, I think I'm going to write a book. No, it's a movement.
It's a movement.
The miracle mentality is a movement.
It can, and everything you're saying, all the other world-class healers we've had on, you've connected it all together. So it's this century, and it's now, and it's going to be the beginning of the mindset, as you said, that we all need to shift to have fulfillment. And I'm so excited, Tim, to have met you. Thank you again. Please, you guys, go out and buy this book. I know I'm going to buy it today. And Tim, I'm sure we're going to stay in touch. Thank you so much. On behalf of Marie and myself.
We will stay in touch. Let's hang out and let's just keep sharpening each other.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, I think you'll do more for me. But I'm all in. I'm all in, Tim. Okay, wow. So thank you for bearing with us first and foremost as we did our very first show from the Prius studio.
We think we might move out here permanently.
in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. Thank you, Dunkin' Donuts, for your Wi-Fi and your sponsorship, although this is not part of the sponsorship. Tim's story was mind-blowing. He was patient, thank goodness, with us. He's awesome. I hope you guys were too. But okay, Stephen, because I know you're the most cynical of our little threesome here. Were you moved by some of the stuff you heard?
100%, Kev. 100%. Like, I think it was really interesting because I've worked with you for so long. Like, I think we're going on 9.5 years now, that I'm just like, wow, it's amazing that Oprah's life coach is so similar to Kevin in their way of thinking, and so similar to Kevin in like their life beliefs and their mentorship in terms of what they try to instill on the people they work with.
I agree. I 100% agree. I loved the discount version of yourself. You can't go into something if you still believe that you're a discounted version from something that happened to you in your past. I was like, oh, hold the phone, Kevin.
Yes, I've been the 99-cent version of myself.
No longer. But we all do it, though. We all do it to a degree. It's like, I don't think I'm worthy for, because of something that happened, that X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oof, no.
I mean, I
thought that was really
it's so crazy how he's tied together so many different life lessons from just his life and working with people who have experienced things. Like, I know I connected with a lot of it of like, okay, well, your expectations versus reality. And if you keep beating yourself up over the things that didn't happen because your expectations were too high, you're still operating from a place of who you were yesterday, and you're discounting yourself, and you're not working with what you have now. And I think in COVID, we're all kind of in that place of like, we got to start working with what we have now and using our experiences and everything we've gained from the past, as opposed to begrudging ourselves for not having what we thought would happen.
Yeah. And I think just also being, being is so important. That's a real hard one because we're so into doing and we're so into achieving. And I think also like the chasing fantasies, which I've heard people say chasing dragons, I think that's a big thing because we see so many lottery ticket winners. And when I say that, I mean symbolically, people who are like, oh, I threw up a video and now I'm viral. I'm a multimillionaire. And we think, oh, that's the dragon. That's the fantasy I should chase. And like he said, that will not give you wisdom. The wisdom will come through, the abundance will come, and the wisdom will come through work.
Yeah.
And that's the part of the 20th century that I'd love to come over. And that's why I think he's so great, because he's a hybrid of the enlightenment, the sensitivity, the spirituality, but he's still saying you got to do the work.
Yeah.
If this is what but I think that's true of everybody, whether you even have a lofty dream or not. I say it all the time, like no one gets out of life for free. Very few of us. Yes, maybe you're the one who is a rich, spoiled kid or a rich, spoiled husband or a rich, spoiled wife, and but they're never happy. Rarely. They're miserable people. But we all have to work in some way, and we all, according to him, what I agree with is we're all here to serve, and that was what Nicole Avant said. And I think we have to remember that, and know that we are serving. Whether it was the kid today who helped me at, I was saying I went into the Rite Aid in the morning, and there was a special needs clerk who was working there, and he was saying to me how the town we're in is always going to get knocked out of internet because of the winds, and and that really helped me. And he's serving in his way, and we all really are, and embrace and be in that.
What did he say? He who chases fantasies lacks judgment.
Yeah. And he said in other interviews, then lacks wisdom.
Yep. Yeah.
But whether you're, for me, in the carny business, when it was brutal work, we always made it fun. I was telling you that, Kelsey, we would be like, oh, we're going to get to go to McDonald's tonight, the one that's open till 3. And that's what we were so excited. I'm going to get my double quarter. What are you going to order? Yeah. And we were just, and even in this moment now, like the three of us on Kelsey's, birthday week.
Thank you.
We're in the Prius, and like I'm very grateful to be part of this. And we're talking to Tim Storey, and he's connected to Oprah and all these other amazing people.
Well, that's the thing. That was another point that I loved from him. It was, let's see, he talked about getting back to innocence and then gratitude.
Big one.
And that's going to bring you peace. Yes. And ultimately, peace is what helps you win, right?
We might have to do a Tim Storey Cliff Notes.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like it because I think we jumped around a lot in the interview, but I think if we piece it all together, there's some good tools for your toolkit.
Just like the whole harvest.
Well, everyone, who is our guest in the Prius tomorrow? What's that, Stephen?
Sorry, there's a delay, but yeah, I think like just the law of the harvest, but just Kevin, I think this interview is going to be really great for Maria to listen to. And also for me, it's like, it really put a lot of things about what happened last year in perspective in terms of, everything that, we've done for people and are no longer able to do during COVID, knowing that we were still receiving that plurality through doing it, regardless of what the end result was. And whether or not there was a long-term plurality or not, in those moments, I know that, like, just as he said, Kevin, you get that endorphin rush from helping people. You, like, everything he was saying about, like, okay, like, anytime you help people's dreams come true, anytime you help people get to the next level, like, I don't know, Kevin, what have you done that for? 1,500 people now?
True.
Well, thank you for acknowledging that. And it was really special to talk to him and connect. And I think he'll be with us. I think we've made just another Heal Squad friend.
Yay, Tim.
And so who's on?
So tomorrow in the Prius, we have personal finance expert Susie Orman.
Oh my God. Susie don't play.
No,
oh my
I'm excited.
By the way, I love Susie. I've seen her speak many times. And
you think she'll like the Prius?
Yes, of course. Cost effective, save on gas.
Electric, baby.
Timeless. Yeah, it's a Prius.
Yeah.
Easy to park.
I'm excited for her.
But maybe I doubt we're going to have internet tomorrow.
No,
FML, you guys. Oh. Well,
FML.
Listen, if there was any time to take over, well, why not now? And
I know.
as my dad would say, better me than anyone else. Better me than Maria to be in this situation.
You're doing really well, Kim. I thought that was a great interview.
Well, you guys are so great and staying patient. We just kept rolling. And I think last lesson for this show too is like, you got to roll.
Roll the punches.
Priyanka Chopra, her dad, be like water. So be fluid.
He said that too.
Yes. So you start hearing these things, you guys. It's like the same thing said in a different way.
Yep.
And, just apply them.
And you can choose. That's the thing. It's like, and then you can choose which person, like what lands with you. It might have been Priyanka saying it. It might have been Tim saying it, right? One of them's going to stick.
Yeah.
And you just have to apply it and it's going to change your life.
So like today, I could have let stress, you could have let stress, Steve could let stress take us out. I'm not doing it. Throw my hands up in the air. Let's do it another day. Or it's not going to be perfect. So let's not do it at all.
Right.
And, we were like, no, we went to the public library here. Then we, went to the other Dunkin' Donuts. So we came to this Dunkin' Donuts. And then I have my hotspot. And it's all even helping us come up with contingency plans. So when Maria is here, she won't have to deal with this. So many, many gifts, many, many lessons as always. So until tomorrow, Kelsey.
Until tomorrow, be nice people, make good choices, and be present. And share this with your friends and family. We love you.
It's me, Kelsey. It's Kelsey's birthday week.
Thanks, guys.